Dr. Omega Garibay. Okay, ayan, okay. Live na po tayo sa YouTube. Ayan, okay. Tita, I hope you can hear me. Okay, nag-live na po tayo sa Facebook, sa YouTube. Pag nagse-set up lang po. Time check, my dear friends. Sa Facebook, good afternoon. And I would like to invite you, my friends, sa YouTube. Guest po natin ngayong hapon si Dr. Omega Garibay. Ang topic po natin today is emotional intelligence. Okay? So, para po makita nyo po ang PowerPoint ni Dr. Garibay, I'd like you to join us sa Facebook, sa YouTube po. Okay? Doon po ang kasiyahan sa YouTube. Maganda po ang PowerPoint. Hello, partner. Good afternoon. Ayan. Good afternoon, partner. Tita Omega. Naalala mo si Tita Omega Garibay, yung guest natin before sa Steps of Faith, yung nagkakahulog-hulog tayo sa upuan. Yan. Yung guest natin before Okay. Yes, we will be talking about emotional intelligence. So good morning to my dear friend and sister Lizette Pascual, all the way in Oman. Ayan. And joining us all the way in Oman. I somehow forgot about. Yeah, okay. For sure maalala mo siya mamaya pag nakita mo siya. Yung topic, nung nag-topic tayo ng love courtship din noon, yung nasa promenade tayo, yung nasa promenade tayo, na nag-set up tayo sa promenade, doon tayo nag-show. Saka yung tawag dito, nung nasa studio tayo ng EMC, yung nagkahulog-hulog tayo sa upuan. Kasi napakasaya natin. Yeah, right. Yun. So, this afternoon, partner, Tito Omega prepared a very nice PowerPoint, and I'm very sure that you would love it. It's a big help. Ang ganda. And so once again, my dear friends, good afternoon. Our time check is 1:35, and we are just setting up a few things here before we kick off, or before we start our wonderful topic today, which is emotional intelligence, which is very, very timely for all of us, because we are now stressed in so many ways, right? We are now stressed in so many ways. We are having a lot of worries in so many ways. So today, uh, our topic, or for the month of July, our topic is on stress and anxiety due to pandemic. And to kick off our topic today, or this month, we have invited we have invited a very dynamic speaker. Alam ko po ano, yung time natin ay kulang na kulang, but um I'm very sure you will enjoy it with us this afternoon, okay? Together with Dr. Omega Garibay, okay? So you will know more about Dr. Garibay in a few minutes, okay? So hatak na po, okay? So if you are watching this stream on a delayed thing, kasi alam ko most of you would be out with work, but for those who would be tuning us or watching us, okay, um I hope you will watch it until the last part, because our guest speaker Dr. Garibay has prepared a very very enriching PowerPoint, which alam ko ulit-ulitin niyo. Okay? So if you happen to watch this after the live stream, okay, do not be shy to drop in or to leave your questions, okay? To leave your questions or your comments, okay, sa chat box sa baba, okay? And we will make sure that Dr. Garibay can enrich it, and we will address your questions in our next episodes. Okay, so and as well, don't forget to click that link on the lower right of your screen. Okay, so that you will be updated. Subscribe and click the bell. Okay, for updates. Ayan. And good afternoon kay Toto Gabino. Watching straight from Rojas, Mindoro Oriental. Ayan. Oh, good afternoon. Stay with us to. Ang ganda ng topic natin ngayon, it's emotional intelligence. Since frontliner ka to, I'm sure you will really appreciate our topic today. And I encourage you na na manood sa manood sa YouTube. Yung comment mo to, pwede rin dito sa yung comment mo pwede dito sa Facebook, pero yung ulo mo andun sa YouTube. I-click mo lang yung link. Okay? Just click the link kasi ang ganda ng PowerPoint ni Doc Garibay. No? So, I'm sure you will appreciate it. Emotional intelligence. Okay? So, it's gonna be a fun-filled afternoon. Michelle, ayan, Ma'am Michelle, magandang hapon po. Watching from Nueva Ecija. Happy birthday! Ayan, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Ayan. Masigabong napalakpakan para kay Ma'am Michelle. All the way to Nueva Ecija, watching us right now. And Ma'am Michelle, kung maka-access po kayo ng YouTube, mas maganda po kung makita niyo po yung mga PowerPoint mamaya ni Doc Garibay. And I'm very sure po malaking tulong po ito. Malaking inspiration po ito. Okay? So, maghatak na po. Ayan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my dear friends. And again, for those who are watching us right now on Facebook, okay, you're welcome po. Okay. Our time check is 1:40. So before we start our topic this afternoon, okay, I'd like us to pause for a few minutes of meditation. Okay? Ang short meditation natin ngayong hapon is I entitled it Attractive Shortcuts. Okay? Attractive Shortcuts. And if you have your Bibles, you can open it with me on Exodus chapter 13. Yan. Exodus chapter 13, verses 17 to 18. And it says, when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, though that was shorter. For God said, if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led them. So God led the people around by the desert, by the desert road toward the sea. The Israelites went up out of Egypt, armored for battle. This is the word of the Lord. For sure, my dear friends, lahat po tayo is gusto ng madalian, di ba? All of us love shortcuts. And that is why marami po tayong mga networking. I'm very sure many of us or all of us are familiar with MLM or yung networking na tinatawag nila. And this kind of business is very lucrative, di ba? Napakadaling gawin, napakagandang gawin, and many are into it kasi ang return of investment is napakaganda, di ba? Ang return of investment is very attractive, is very promising, di ba? And most of us are are into it because we all want to improve. We all love we all want to have a better life, right? Okay? And buhay po natin ngayon, uh, we have we have a lot of shortcuts. Pero bakit po minsan yung mga shortcuts na ito is minsan nagbibigay sa atin ng frustration, right? Sometimes we are frustrated because sa sobra nating pagmamadali, nasa scam tayo, di ba? Scam ang labas. Because akala natin lahat sa buhay is pwede nating ma-express. Express lahat, di ba? Akala natin pwedeng madalian. But the best things in life, dapat mag-go through the process tayo. Okay? Katulad nung ginawa ng Panginoon sa mga Israelites when He delivered them out of Egypt. Alam niya na may shortcut. Okay? Alam niya na may shortcut. But if He allowed or if He brought those people through that shortcut, okay, okay, may chances na mag-change ang kanilang mga mind. Okay? May chances na mag-change yung mind nila kasi they will experience war. They would experience a lot of conflict. Okay? So the Lord led them to a longer route. Okay? The Lord led them to a longer route, and the Lord wanted them to experience the beauty of His grace. Katulad din po sa atin ngayon na most of the time when we do things na madalian, we over hindi natin ma-experience talaga yung tamis ng buhay with the Lord, right? We overlook, we we skip out on many things in life na masasabi nating that would enhance our our self, that would enhance ourself. Okay, that would contribute to our maturity. Ayan, nabubulol na ako, nako-conscious ako. Okay? Na that would enhance our maturity because the Lord has a wonderful plan para sa atin. Katulad nung verse which is in Jeremiah, Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. E pag nag-shortcut ng shortcut po tayo mga kaibigan, hindi po natin masasavor. We cannot taste the fullness of the plan ng Panginoon sa atin. Right? We will, as I've said, we will skip out some of the beauty of the plans that the Lord has for us. Kaya sometimes we would think na yung dinadaanan natin is correct or yung dinadaanan natin is the best kasi shortcut, di ba? But sometimes these shortcuts would lead us to failure. Sometimes these shortcuts would lead us to frustration. Sometimes these shortcuts would lead us to disappointment. Okay? Because we tend to skip on some things that we need to learn. We need to learn before we achieve something. Okay? So sana po, before tayo mag-shortcut, okay? Before tayo mag-shortcut, we will ask the Lord. We will ask ourselves, ito ba talaga ang correct na daan that the Lord wants me to have? Or sometimes we fail many times sa mga ginagawa natin, right? We fail many times sa mga ginagawa natin which nagmamadali na tayo, 'di ba? Like kuha ka ng mga board exams, 'di ba? Or mag-apply ka sa trabaho, sometimes you get rejected several times. And atat ka na magtrabaho or you really want to be a board passer or you really want to go abroad or mag OFW, 'di ba? But the Lord say, relax lang, anak, relax lang. I still have a lot of things prepared para sa iyo. It's either na hindi mo pa time na magtrabaho or hindi mo pa time para maging isang registered professional or hindi mo pa time na mag-abroad because you still have a lot of things to learn or maybe the job for you is not yet prepared or the place for you is not yet prepared, 'di ba? So, dapat po we should also be sensitive sa leading ng Panginoon sa atin. Okay? And as Philippians 1:6 says, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Okay? He will be faithful to complete it. Okay? So the Lord will be faithful to complete it. Hindi niya po tayo pababayaan. Okay? Hindi niya po tayo pababayaan. He would always be there para sa atin. He would give us. He would give us uh guidance, he would give us provisions, he would take care of us. So being confident that he who began a good work in us will be faithful to complete it. Okay? So ngayong hapon, my dear friends, okay? Ngayong hapon, my dear friends, we are just so blessed that yung guest po natin ngayon is a very busy doctor. Okay? Partner, nag-send po ako ng message sa reunion. Nag-send ako ng link, partner, sa reunion, baka gusto mong sumali dito sa taas. Okay? Baka gusto yung sumali dito sa taas, partner. Click lang po yung reunion. Okay? Um, okay. So, ngayong hapon, ang guest po natin is, sige, i-introduce ko na lang, okay? I-introduce ko na lang siya para makarami po tayo, di ba? Ako honestly, I would like to start talking with her already and throwing a lot of questions kasi napakaganda po ng topic natin. Okay? Uh, this wonderful lady that we would be talking this afternoon is hindi po siya iba para sa akin. Okay? I the first time I met her is through her sister, si Dr. Alma Frondosa. Kasi yung anak ni Dr. Frondosa was a classmate of mine sa seminary before, and the rest was history. But anyway, when I met our guest tonight, at first, syempre, medyo prim and proper pa, medyo uh, may konting takot, na may konting hiya, di ba? Kasi napakataas na na posisyon. Kasi po, ang guest po natin ngayon is, she is the wife of Ambassador Uriel Norman Garibay. Akalain mo ba naman, ambassador's wife, syempre napakataas, di ba? Formal na tao, di ba? Kagalang-galang na tao. But when you get to know her, my goodness, sasakit ang tiyan mo sa kakatawa. You know? As I have mentioned earlier, no, nag-guest po siya namin before sa Steps of Faith na program din namin sa CPU channel before. It was the first time in several years na hulog po kami sa sofa sa kakatawa ng co-host ko na si Lizette. Because ganun po siya ka-witty, ganun po siya kagaling magsalita. And Dr. Garibay has traveled and organized and has been a speaker on emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. Hindi ko alam kung familiar na po kayo sa topic na ito or sa word emotional intelligent or emotional quotient. Kasi marami na tayong mga quotient, di ba? No? So, it is one, while she was assisting or being a support sa kay Ambassador Garibay, doon po niya na-meet itong si emotional intelligence. No? So, she started to talk about it, and she started to help people, no, on this topic. And Dr. Garibay has been blessed with two kids, si Shalom at saka si Yuhong. Okay? And lola na din po siya ngayon, no, to two wonderful babies. And for those who are here in Iloilo, meron po silang art gallery dito sa boardwalk. Meron po silang art gallery doon. Ang name ng art gallery nila is Omrel, no? Omrel Art Gallery. It's sa lahat po ng mga mahilig mag-painting diyan, mga artist po natin, no? Visit the 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 gallery soon pag pwede na tayong mag-open ng mga gallery natin, no? May inspire po kayo and you get to interact with this wonderful lady first-hand, face-to-face, and hindi po kayo magsisisi. Okay? So, yung mga friends po natin sa YouTube, sa Facebook, ano po pong hinihintay nyo? Okay? Log in na sa YouTube. Okay? Dito lang ang ulo sa YouTube, ang katawan sa Facebook para po makapagtanong kayo. Okay? I am watching from my phone. I'm actually nasa exam pala siya. Okay, sige. No problem, partner. Okay. So, anyway, my dear friends, para po makarami tayo, okay? Para po makarami tayo, help me in welcoming our special guest for today, the one and only Dr. Omega Garibay. Yan. Good afternoon, Tito Doc.
Hello, Pastor Reelj. It's so nice to see you again after a long time. Nakakatakot namang introduction yun.
Bakit naman po?
Kasi baka mag-expect sila na tatawa sila at baka hindi ko sila mapatawa.
Baka po umiyak sila, ano?
Oo, baka nga. Kasi emotions nga tayo ngayon, ano?
Emotions. Pero di ba sabi nga po nila, laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, actually, we will talk about that. But emotional intelligence is quite a broad topic. So I'll just touch some and give you an idea of what it is. This afternoon, I'll show you some slides, but it's more than, it's about life in itself, no?
Life in itself.
Yeah.
And sige po, Pagtsikahan po muna tayo tita kasi wala pa naman po 2:00.
Ah,
Okay?
okay, okay. And
'Di ba?
that's good. And that's good. Actually, I'm really happy that you have invited me. Hindi ako makahindi sa iyo. No?
Thank
And
you. Thank
I
you.
went into emotional intelligence actually because my husband, being the consul general in Saudi Arabia before, asked me to help with the distressed OFWs. So I
Mm,
started humanistic counseling there. So when I was doing humanistic counseling, I mean, it they said it really helped them. So I tried to research some more on how do I help them. So I went into self empowerment, and then I bumped into emotional intelligence. And then when I bumped into it, I studied it. And then my friends and everybody just said, "Oh, we need that omega. We need that omega." So I when I went into this, I was not thinking about coaching, you know? I didn't know that there will be a coach in the future. I just went into this because it helped me first, then my friends, then my family, then my children. Then I hope, and then the pandemic came.
okay. Tita, speaking of the pandemic game and, family, kamusta naman po ang pagiging lola? Kasi alam
Ay
ko 'di ba,
nako, oo.
halos magkasabay yung dalawa nanganak.
Yes, and talagang I'm so happy with the Lord that I bumped into EQ because my daughter is in Australia and she had her son a month before the pandemic. So hindi ako makapunta as lola there. So wala siyang support system. So I have to tap on emotional intelligence because the postpartum depression usually comes to the married to moms, no? Yeah, so I will be talking with the QualiMed about how are you mom. So it helped her to be alone and face the challenges of being a mom in a pandemic situation.
Yes.
But it's really I loving the moment because they're growing fast and they're lucky. If you want the positive side of the pandemic, it's
Mhm.
because we spend more time with them now. If the pandemic is not here, I might not be around for them.
Oo nga 'no, kasi I mean like
Ah,
yes, most likely nasa Manila po kayo or kung saang,
yeah.
assignment si ambassador, 'no?
Yes.
Pero I understand nasa retirement retired
Yeah,
na
yeah. Nag-retire na si
ba?
Sir mo. Nag-retire na si Sir mo ng January. So that's
Uh-huh,
why we opened the gallery. It's to prevent our boredom. So we
uh-huh,
will be talking about boredom and other emotions later.
uh
So-
So tita, hindi po ba kayo na ano, hindi po ba kayo na nanibago kasi for several years you've been abroad and going back and forth tapos
ang laki ng
na-addict po kayo?
pagbabago. Yeah, and then nag-pandemic pa. Sino ba nag-akala na I wanted really to retire na and enjoy the Filipino culture and food, and then the pandemic. So it took me 3 months, a real John, to be
Mhm.
able to cope with the situation and find my EQ to be able to function well and go back to helping people with EQ. May, matagal ako, I did not want nga to go into Zoom because technically challenged ako eh.
Technically challenged, okey, sige, sige, sige.
Yeah, kasi matanda na ako.
Yeah, kaya nga
Ang
po, eh,
hirap
'no?
nang magawa ng mga Zoom. I want the old way.
Mm. Pero may clinic po kayo tita ngayon as a, doctor or
No, I have retired
veterinary
as a practicing doctor, but the Omriel Hub before was the Omriel Emotional Intelligence Awareness Hub. So I do the EQ sessions, and but now I shifted to Google Meets. So I am full with EQ sessions one on one, and some companies ask me for lectures. So
Mhm.
that makes me busy. Kaya nga natatawa yung mga friends ko na sabi nila, nag-retire na si Sir, ikaw atang busy naman tita. But
Mga bawi-bawi lang.
Yeah, but I
So,
have just to manage it so that hindi man din ako ma-stress. So that's the advantage of being in emotional intelligence.
hmm,
Mm-mm.
sige ba? Our time check mga kaibigan is 2:01. So once again sa mga friends po natin dito sa Facebook, no? Actually last Sunday ko lang kita na-realize na yung sa Facebook pala naririnig din po kayo. Kasi
Oh, really?
naka-live, yeah,
That's
naka-live
good.
po kayo sa Facebook.
Oh, hi muna ako dyan, kanila Bingbing sa Manila. I think they want to watch you also.
Yeah, si Bingbing right now, actually ka-chat ko siya, so nasa reunion ata siya. So
Oo,
sabi ko,
nasa Rizal
ikaw na
sila.
bahala sa Varley. At
Yes.
akin mo na ang Varley, andito na si Tita. No? So, message na ata nakalimutan, si Pauline.
Si
Message,
Ningning, si Ningning. Yes, yes.
message na ata.
Tsaka
Ah, si,
yung meditation ngayon, Pastor, is very timely. Kasi ang emotional intelligence hindi to shortcut.
ayun.
It's a
Yes,
process.
it's a
It's a
process.
process. So
Totoo yan.
you can it's discovering yourself, how you
Mm,
handle this difficult time, and you
mm,
are guided by your emotion intellectually. Kasi
intellectual.
kung yung emotion lang ang ipabayaan mo, your
Mm.
decision making might be very bad.
So, tita,
So,
in a short capsule, ano po itong tinatawag na emotional intelligence or emotional quotient? Bago po tayo punta sa PowerPoint ninyo.
okay. So, bakit siya tinawag na emotional quotient? Actually, emotional intelligence talaga siya.
Mm.
In 1995 ata, lumabas itong Time Magazine na write-up ni Daniel Goldman about emotional intelligence para ma-relate sa tao na yung IQ tsaka EQ are in parallel, no? Kailangan mo yung IQ as well as kailangan mo yung EQ. Yun ang sinasabi ko real dyan sa mga medical students, yung mga first year, kasi nagle-lecture din ako sa kanila, na kahit anong bright mo, anong summa cum laude ka, anong photographic memory mo, no? Kung at the time na mag-aral ka, may mga emotional, parang kumbaga tinatawag nating emotional disasters. Kunyari, nag-break off kayo ng girlfriend mo or nainis ka sa kapitbahay mo or na-late ka sa traffic, no? Di ba nawawala ka sa focus?
Mm.
So, kailangan, lagyan mo ng intelligence yung emotions para ma-refocus ka sa ano talaga yung iyong goal sa araw na yun. And
Pero,
there are skills that you can do.
mm, pero tita, di ba, how, kasi it's a bit difficult having emotions and having and using your intelligence together.
Yes, if you are not aware of it. That's
Ayan.
why ang number one sa emotional intelligence is awareness. Kaya nga noon, no, years back, hindi natin dinadala yung emotions sa ating decision making because it's irrational. Di ba? No?
Yes.
Pero they found out na may decision making na walang effect ang emotions doon. Hindi natin sasabihin na yung teacher talagang objective in grading, no? There will come a day na kunyari, nag-away sila ng asawa niya sa bahay, dala-dala niya yung galit pagdating niya sa school, di ba?
Yes.
Ang naunang irritating na estudyante, bobodyakan niya na, ay ang grado ng di ba? Usually ganon. So, it was so funny, real John, kasi sabi nga nung isang to-be teacher na naka-attend ng isang session ko, ay, alam ko na, Doc, ano ang emotional intelligence. Pag ginalitan kami ng principal, di namin dalin sa mga estudyante namin.
Mm.
Di ba? Pag ginalitan ka ng principal mo, pagdating mo sa kwarto, lahat ng mga kawawa yung mga estudyante mo, di ba? So,
Correct.
yun ang kanyon. Kasi, ang emotional intelligence, ang emotion nakakahawa, real dyan. 'Di ba? Pag galit ako, uncomfortable ka rin kasi ang tinatawag nating mirroring.
Mm.
Kaya nga daw yung tatay, pag galit sa anak, no, yun ang yan, may mga tatay diyan, no? Pag galit ka sa anak, may reason yung galit mo. Pero hindi nakikita ng anak mo yung reason o yung logic ng galit mo. Pero nakikita niya yung iyong kilay na dumidikit, no, yung boses mo, and it affects them emotionally also. So kahit anong rason mo doon, kung anong logic mo doon, nagagalit ka,
Mm.
hindi, kumbaga, hindi yun pupunta sa change ng anak mo. Kaya emotionally intelligent parents will be
Mm.
able to bring up also emotionally intelligent children. Diba? Oh.
Correct. Kaya nga po hindi ako nakakasawa kasi hindi ako emotionally stable. Tas.
Yeah! Well, it's your choice. Yan ang gusto ko
Babatuhin
i-point
ako ni
out.
Bingbing.
Ha? Real John, that's what I'm going to point out. That you have a choice to act on the emotion. Don't blame the
Mm.
emotion.
Correct.
Ha?
Correct.
Kung galit yun isa, kasi siya nagpagalit sa akin, ikaw nagsuntok dun sa tao. I-blame mo yung tao, ikaw ang sumuntok eh.
Hindi mo naman siguro siya susuntukin kung hindi siya nauna. If
Yeah,
you
but
siya din
suntok is
nasuntok you.
suntok. Yeah, but suntok is suntok. You go to, will it solve your problem? Ha?
Mhm.
Mapulis ka pa because that's whatever your reason is, that's physical violence.
Ah, tama,
Di ba?
tama.
So those are the
Yes.
ones that you're not using your emotional intelligence in acting on your emotion.
Okay.
So you're complicating the issue.
Yes. So, connection, sige, umaya ko na po itanong yung connecting sa stress at sa pandemic.
Yes. Oh, bibigay ko
So,
muna yung
yeah,
kan.
mamaya na, sige po.
Sige, bigay ko na. No?
Sige po,
I
sige
mean,
po, sige po.
okay, I'll try to share na ba?
Sige po.
I-share ko na, no?
Opo.
Ito, nakikita mo na ba yan?
Yes, yes po.
Okay, okay. So, good afternoon once again to those who have joined us. And it's my honor and my privilege to be with you this afternoon. How are you coping? This pandemic, ako hirap na hirap. But I'm happy that I have my emotional intelligence that even at my 65 years old, no, I can still adapt. I can, I accept, adapt, and be able to function daily, no? So sometimes because of this pandemic, all of us start eating during quarantine, no? Sabi nga nitong baby, me after I eat all my quarantine snacks in one night, no? So this is very important. Kasi sa emotional, the problem with the pandemic is that it's not the virus alone. It's not how deadly the virus is. But the emotions that we feel because of the pandemic, no? Sometimes people, the emotions like fear, no? Siyempre natakot ka, magkakasakit ka, o mamamatay ang mga kasamahan mo, no? Anxious about tomorrow, worry about your work, no? Sadness, ang malungkot, ang nangyari dahil biglang umiba ang ating mundo, ano? All your expectations, all your dreams stopped, right? So, taka pa minsan pagod ka na, ayaw mo nang bumangon. So sometimes some of us overthink, some of us oversleep, some of us overeat, no? So these emotions cripples us, debilitates us. No, pag mas lalo na ngayon na tumatagal at tumatagal, parang hindi natin alam anong gagawin. Don't you worry about it.
At
It's okay not to be okay.
Tita, if I may cut you po, sa mga
Yes.
guests natin ngayon or sa mga viewers natin, okay, if you have any questions, okay, if you have any questions whether on Facebook or here on YouTube, please just write them down sa comment box natin so that Tita Omega can answer them later. Okay, so if any
Okay, you have to
questions,
tell me ha, kasi hindi ko
yes,
makita ha.
yes po.
Okay.
So just write them down dito sa comment section natin and we will discuss them later. Okay, sige po Tita.
Okay. So when this emotions cripples you, or debilitates you, what happens? It makes you sick, physically and mentally. Okay? Oops, this is what I want you to be aware of. Don't judge anybody who is experiencing these kinds of situation. Maswerte ka kung hindi ka nakikripple. No? Maswerte ka kung nakaka-bounce back ka kaagad. But each and every one of us, hindi itong solution na ito is not one size fits all. That's why emotional intelligence is how you see things, no? Mayroon akong sariling tingin sa mundo no? I have my truth, you have your truth, and there's the real truth. So let us start this lecture or this conversation by being open, by being honest of what we feel, no? Paminsan kasi, don't you worry na paminsan kasi nasanay tayong mag-suppress ng emotion. Hipos na, wala na. No? And now this is the pandemic. Parang gusto mo rin magsabing malungkot ako nanay pero hindi ka magkakasabi sa nanay dahil baka magalit, no? So, and then there's another thing that the researchers, scientists research in United States now, that the continuous isolation of human increases the neuropeptide called tachykinin. Tapos kung itong tachykinin is nandyan sa katawan mo, no, and it increases your stress hormone. Parang noon, hindi ka naman nai-irritate dyan sa kapatid mo or sa anak mo na ganun ang ugali. Ngayon, kunti-kunti lang, masyado ka nang, nawawala ka na, no? Na, you go crazy, no? And in fact, and the worst thing, it might be that you would go paranoid, no? So remember that, sino yun? Yung security guard, no? Na para yung panda lang, no? I think the pandemic has come into him already, that this is already happening in his body. These emotions affects our body responses. And in fact, it affects our functionality in our daily basis. Ilan sa inyo ang, tamad na ikaw yung mag-toothbrush, no? Tamad ka naman magligo, kaya wala ka namang pupuntahan for this day, no? So how can emotional intelligence help you at this point in time, no? Let me have this. No, I just want you to remember this. You're not hungry. You're bored. Shut the damn door. No? The emotion is boredom. It's not hunger. So why should you feed boredom with food? Siyempre, hindi mo masusolve yung boredom mo by eating and eating. That's why you're getting to be obese. And then you go to another problem. Nako, tamad na ko lalo maglakat-lakat, no? Because you are solving the wrong emotion. That's where your emotional intelligence lies. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is your ability. Hindi kay pastoral na ability, Hindi ability sang nanay mo. Hindi ability sang partner mo. It's your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself. What am I feeling? No? Kung kisa, I have clients, how do you feeling? That means you do not understand. It's okay. May iba naman na, kailang. That means you're confused, no? That means, ewan ko, doktora. That means there are a lot of emotions. And I love it when they said, ewan ko, doktora. That means there are a lot of emotions that is bothering you, that you feel, no? That you cannot decipher. That's why you cannot do an action that is solving your problem. So being aware of these emotions will help you also to be aware with others' emotion. And when you are aware of this, you will be able to manage your behavior and relationships. So just for passing, what's the difference between IQ and EQ? Lahat kayo ata ngayon nakikinig, may mga diploma, That's your IQ is very high. Your IQ peaks when you're 19 and 20. That's why magagaling talaga yung mga anak nyo, no? Mag-reason out, mag-con. But sometimes, their EQ is still overpowered by the emotions which is brought about by the hormones. Because your teenager from 16 to 21, there will be surges of hormones that affects the emotion. So what is the importance of emotional intelligence? Alam mo yun, IQ? Yung IQ na sabi ng nanay ko, kailangan mag-top ka ng class para maganito, magito. It's only 20% of your success. Researchers shows that your success in life, whatever it is, personal, married life, family life, work life, community, the rest of it, the 80% would depend upon your emotional intelligence. Why? Because your day is full of emotions at work, at home, in the community, in the Facebook. Kita mo na naman nag-post itong imo kalaban sa ang imo nga mga emotions kasaka naman. Nawawala ka na naman sa focus mo sa iyong trabaho, no? Kasi naugot-ugot ka naman dun sa mga posts ng mga iban mo nga mga friends nga ano ka, ga FOMO. Ano ng FOMO? Balaan mo na. And you react to different kind of emotions. Then it affects your attitude and behavior towards work and to the people around you. So what is an emotion? Remember the three. There is a subjective experience, no? Kung kisa sabihin natin, nakita mo yung taong nangutang sa'yo. What happens to you? There's something physiological that happens. Gaugot ko, dugay-dugay na gid ng no sorry kanamit gid mag-Ilonggo no dugay-dugay na gid ang ako na utang ha wala pa siya gabayad pero bag-uya bayo no so the emotions are scaling no kag I have to translate it in English so if you see somebody who had debt on you and that hasn't paid for a long time no your body gets irritated you're frustrated then it goes into anger the problem with this subjective experience the body reacts and the problem with body reaction is that there is an expression in your behavior no so kunyari gabi na yung asawa dumating hindi mo naman sinasabi na galit ka pero nakikita ng asawa mo sa mukha mo, no? Nagalit ka, delikado. Ito, no? So, even in the boardroom, no? Nag-aaway-away na yung apat, ikaw, yeah, God, it affects you. The behavior because of the emotions affects everybody. That's why in a community, if there is like cooperation and we empathize each other, we will have collaborative efforts. So the first thing in emotional intelligence is identify the emotion. Hindi pwedeng marami akong emotion, doktora. Okay, let it be. Label its emotion. Is it fear? Are you afraid of COVID? So you have to do something about it. You have to learn more facts about COVID. Or are you afraid that a loved one will be killed by by COVID? Or because a lot of people doesn't follow protocol, you went into anger. No? So, ang manifestation ng anger is different already. Or are you sad because you're missing your old life? So label emotions. So if you have your notebooks with you, those are the things that you have to do in your daily reflections. Write down exactly what is your emotion. Hindi lang kay tanan-tanan. Take time, ginhawa dalom. Are you afraid? Are you sad? Are you lonely? Are you disappointed? Are you irritated? No? Get the emotions because you cannot manage the emotion if you're not aware of it. So, anger usually is the tip of the iceberg, no? So, actually, that anger starts from being humiliated by your boss, or being frustrated by your husband, or being rejected on a job, no, or being scared by the COVID. And then all of a sudden, when you went home, huh, you have all these emotions already from work and the day previous. And when you went home, this kid of yours, ngay pang taga ibig ta kwarta na mabakal ta, no? Give me money because and then you don't have money because it's COVID and everything, and then boom, you get angry, you know. At, and then pity the child. She didn't know. Parang humingi lang naman ako ng pera. Bakit ganun talaga kaltindi ng galit mo, no? So this feeling of anger, and then you think about choking that nangutang sa imo, that's acceptable. Yeah? But doing that feeling into action, which is this one, which is physical violence or verbal violence, that is not acceptable. So emotional intelligence is that your actions are influenced by the emotions in an acceptable action. So, sabihin mo na lang, doktora, pala na lang, wala problema. I-suppress ko na lang ang emotion. Wala, okay lang na. Don't you know that when you suppress these emotions, it piles up? Bearing emotions is the most effective way of dealing with them. When it piles up, it's the worst thing that can happen to you because you're blinded. Hindi mo na nakikita yung reason, no? You can even kill the person, no? Fear goes into panic. It gets out of your focus of your goals, no? And then the worst thing is poor decision making. Let's get fear. It is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous. It's death for you. There's pain. It's a threat. No? So the fear response arises from the perception of danger. That is what we call our survival skill. That's why man has survived for a long time, even with their predators, because they have this survival skills. So we don't want to lose this equity. No? We cannot, you don't want to suppress them. You need that fear so that you can act properly. So, whatever the cause of your fear, could be coronavirus, no? Or yung daga sa bahay mo na nagasyagit-syagit kagid, no? Or the lion in the safari. My husband was the ambassador to Kenya and 11 other East African countries. So we were privileged to see this lion in the safaris. So, or whatever your source is, that boss, nga pirmi lang ikaw nagademand sa imo, or your wife, or your spouse, no? Or that irritating or annoying coworker, huh? All of this is a source of your fear. But there's one thing you have to know. Your body responds the same way. So whatever it is, if it's a lion, siyempre mag-away ka, no? I don't know kung mag-away ka gid man sa lion, no? Or takbo ka na lang. Paminsan, hindi ka naman makatakbo kasi mas mabilis sa iyo yung lion. So sometimes you freeze. Or whatever the source of this fight, flight, freeze mode, can be your boss, di ba? Fight, gusto mo man masyagit man sa boss mo no? Ma-fight back ka man, pero no. Mabait kang tao no? You want to quit. So, mag-quit na ko sa job. Your way, my way, or the highway. Or you cannot just do anything. Sige na lang, boss. That's what we call phoning. No? Or, what will you do if you have a mad wife? No? So, fear, the problem with fear, there is a physiological response. No? You have the parasympathetic and sympathetic. In simple words, because you need energy or power to run, you have to increase your blood pressure so that the blood will increase on your big muscles, like your hands and feet. For your feet, so that you can run. For your hands, so that you can fight. No? So how will you increase the blood pressure? increase the pressure, but also you have to increase your heart rate. So because of this increased everything of your metabolism, your body, you have stomach problems, you have cold and clammy perspiration. This is for your survival thing. But emergency powers are for survival. But your body is not built to be always in emergency. Yun ang bantayan nyo. So if you prolong the use of these emergency powers, syempre kung pirmi lang beat imo heart na 120, 140 every minute for more than how many days, no? It will bog down. You might have a heart attack. You have hypertension, stroke. Then COVID problem is not only the virus in itself, but also your body problems. So, your aim in emotional intelligence is to conserve energy, manage every emotion that brings you to the negative side so that you don't need to waste your energy. No, so this is the emotional intelligence. There are 5 building blocks. I just want to let you see your self perception. Once you know who you are, you can easily express to the other person what you really want. It lessens conflict. It will better your personal relationship. It will better your decision making, and it will better your stress management. For emotional intelligence to be effective, it has to start with yourself. Self perception, the inner self. How in touch are you with your feeling? Ginapabayaan mo lang ba ang feeling mo? Hasta na lang malupok, no? How good you feel about yourself. So I would advise you, take time. This is the pandemic. You have your alone time. Instead of wasting your time about boredom, get a journal. Write down about yourself. Write down 3 things that are your strengths and 3 things that are your weaknesses. In self-perception, you accept who you are. Every one of us is a unique being. That's why I don't like any judgments, because that is where emotional intelligence is all about. So self-awareness is having an accurate, wala colored glasses, ah. Get it out. Tanawon mo gid iya eh. Ako, I'm weak. I'm weak when it comes to my family. That's why I have to get on my strength. If you want, you can go to VIA. There are 24 characteristic strengths. You get the free survey so that you will just have an idea of what your strengths are. And I am so surprised that my number one strength was spirituality. Practice mindfulness. Sometimes, hindi man to yung akong intention. How? It's not what you said. It's how you said it. Mindfulness can help improve your focus since you won't spend as much energy trying to ignore things. There's something wrong. That act that she did was irritating. Malaan mo, ng bata ko nga hindi si Pirmiga limpyo sa bathroom, irritating na mo. So why can't you tell her na, anak, irritating ba yung ginawa mo? Can we do something about it? That's emotional intelligence. That means you are able to express and you can be able to do something about it. You are not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures of emotion. Get your feedbacks from your friends. Tanawa, kasuplada bala sa imo. Ha? Di ko? Mali, pero mi kuya right. No? So try to listen to your friends so that you can change or improve yourselves. There are things that you cannot do. Stop blaming people of who you have become. There are things you can control, your thoughts, your words, your actions, behaviors, and feelings. That's where your emotional intelligence lies. And you can shift the emotion. Emotional stimulus, like for example, fear, will go to your thalamus, and the thalamus, with the direct pathway, will go to your amygdala. Your amygdala, that is the 2 almond shape in your brain, is your chief of staff. Sabi, may danger. Si Pastor Reelj, may danger. So, kinanlan may police protection dito. So, the amygdala will increase your blood pressure, you'll increase your heart rate so that you'll be ready for the emergency. But when you are able to put that stimulus towards your cognitive or the indirect pathway, itong mga tao, when the people were in front of my house, they were not really dangerous. They were not robbers. So you analyze it, you debate it, then the emotion changes. When the emotion changes, it doesn't come to the amygdala that is afraid anymore. So it will not give increased blood pressure, increased heart rate. Manage the emotions to be able to have better attitude and behavior and be able to work in a collaborative manner rather than a conflict. Check your life now. Are there a lot of conflicts? That means you're not dealing with your emotional intelligence. So write down kanino ka may conflict ngayon, sa anak mo, sa tatay mo, sa sa asawa mo, no? Try to look at that and look at what the emotions that are is telling you, no? And then I would just have this, that there will be a fatigue, but we need the good stress. But when you come to a point na okay lang na, especially this pandemic, that it will not end, no, you will get into fatigue and burnout. And there are ways that you can manage in emotional intelligence so that you can continue to perform well, especially to the frontliners. So the only person who can change what you feel is you. Do not be afraid to admit you have an emotion. This is not a sign of weakness, but of being human. These emotions are telling you something. Na ako irritated man. Hmm? Kung ipabalian mo na iya, pabayaan mo lang na kung angry ka na. Because action is not usually beneficial. You have to calm down the emotion and think of other ways that you can express why that action of that person was irritating. But if you are able to manage this emotion, this is potent. That's why those people who have emotional intelligence are better leaders, are better husbands and wives, are better mothers because they respond. First, accept the emotion. Second, observe how it's going to bad. Yung sakit na bang likod mo? That means may stress ka na ba? Process it in your brain. And when you process it, act on wisely. It is how we manage our reactions and behaviors that stem from anger that can be the difference between creating positive change or perpetually needing to deal with unwanted consequences. Pabalik-balik na lang na ang problema mo nga na. I think you have to look at it more, kumbaga, with more effort this time. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Emotional intelligence can be learned at any age of your life. It can be coached, it can be trained, it can be experienced. Thank you.
Yan, ang galing. Very well said. Very well said. Okay. Before po tayo tita mag-ask ng questions, may mga nag-PM po sa atin earlier while you are talking. I would like to welcome to the loop si partner Mirna. Partner. Okay, si Mirna, I don't know kita kung naalala mo si Mirna. She was also with us sa CPU
Hello
before sa CPC.
po.
Hi,
Good
Mern! Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah.
How are you
Yeah,
po,
yeah.
Doc?
I'm more of face recognition rather than names. That's why.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then,
Nice to see you,
We miss
Myrna.
you po.
yeah, and then we also have tita si Nanay E, si Ma'am Emilia Adelino.
Okay.
I don't know if the
Yes,
name
here.
sounds or ring a bell. Okay. I think
You
she
might
was
see
one
her,
of
I will.
yeah, maybe for sure she was one of your colleagues siguro sa medicine before.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe yan,
If I can
yan.
see her face, kasi baka iba na yung apelyado niya ngayon.
Yeah. Nanay
Yeah,
E,
yeah.
baka pwede po kayong mag-comment
And,
dyan about Tita Omega para at least medyo, maybe some of the things that you were, magkasama kayo before. Okay? Tita, first question po. Okay?
okay.
First question, pre-med. Sa pre-med daw, tita.
Yeah, sa CPU.
Malamang, yes.
Yes, yes. Kasama tayo nila, Naphtali. So I
Yun.
will, yes. Nice to see that you're still around. Yes,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
remember,
Try,
we're
try
still
to, I'll try
around.
to send, I'll try to send her the link. I don't know if she can link. Sige. Nanay E, I'm sending the link kay June. Okay, June, pakisend na lang kay Nanay E ang link. Maybe she can join us here on stage. Okay.
Ito na ba yung platform ngayon, bago?
Yes, correct. Saka may front
That's
stage
nice.
po tayo. Yeah. So, Nanay E, kindly chat na lang po kay June, or June, pakipasa na lang kay Nanay E ang link. Hopefully, she can also join us here. Okay. First question po, tita, kasi we have one question here from Negros sa
Oh,
Cadiz. Okay. Papaano naman po kung hindi mo po ma-label yung emotion mo? Kung hindi mo po
uh,
ma-identify what kind of emotion are you feeling?
yeah, actually, that's why I don't know if we have a second. We have skills to do it. You try just to reflect it. That's why hindi ito instant, no?
Mm,
Especially that we are not used to be aware of our emotions kasi ginasuppress lang, no? So, look at what triggered the emotion. Is it uncomfortable emotion, no? So, kumbaga, himay-himayin natin sino ba yung taga Negros. You look at, sabi mo, ang iba nga hindi na kami makaiyak, doktora eh. It's okay. And then you reflect on the day that when did you really exactly feel the first time this kind of emotion that you cannot understand? The uncomfortability there is, there's an emotion there. So
mm,
the dynamics of emotional intelligence is, kumbaga, you're digging a gold, no? Sa iyong buhay.
mm,
Sometimes we have suppressed all these emotions for years. So writing it down, reflecting them, and then, like, for example, anger. Ano
mm,
bang nag-trigger sa anger mo, no? Sometimes, no, uh, ano nga ang example ko usually, yun, akala mo yung nag-trigger, hindi lang siya naglalagay ng damit niya sa laundry bag, no? As simple as that, no? But the personality of the person is OC, no? Everybody should, everything should be neat and orderly. But yun pala, you were able to tell the person already that kindly put your laundry at the laundry bag. So the first time, she did it, no? Or he did it. Then the third time, you remind again, inulit-ulit. Kasi hindi siya innate na ganun eh. No? And then all of a sudden, you burst. And then you will see that the root is, it's not the laundry bag. It's the feeling of the housewife that he's the only one cleaning the house. See? So that's, oh yeah. Ako lang pirmi, ang daw naaapi ako nito dito sa bahay namin na ito. I'm short-changed. So, the next thing is that when you feel these emotions, write it down, debate it, and how you will express it to a lot of people.
mm.
Kasi kung nasa anger mode ka na, parang hindi na sensible ang mga pinagsasabi mo. So take time, yung tinatawag namin that when you are in a state of anxiety, find ways to bring your state into calmness.
Tita, two intriguing question. Okay, number
Okay,
one
yeah.
is, bakit may mga pikon?
Yeah.
Pero before you answer that, may isa na crucial question dito. Kasi daw karamihan daw sa mga teenagers ngayon are having this what they call identity crisis, na they do not know ano ba talaga. Ano po
Yeah.
masuggest niyo sa kanila?
Actually, before they make the decision, no, reflect on it first. You write down the pros, their experiences, the feelings, no? No, I mean, don't rush. Yun ang kaya I like what you did na yung parang sinasabi no, no cut short. Before you make a final decision, of which some people, dapat ganito ka kasi nasa, ganito, ganito, ganito. Make it your own. If you notice the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence under the decision making, or under, what was that? There is independence.
Mhm.
So the first thing you can just, and then if you are a parent, try to understand them. The more kasi na magiging, hindi ka dapat ganito, the more they will be rebelling.
Mhm.
That's why kung si, I forgot, hirap talaga ng matanda na, but this Yale University emotional intelligence director would always ask parents not to let their children solve their own problems, but let it bear in your mind, what
Mhm.
can we do about that? When they are confused and they're open na, alam mo, mommy, I'm so confused about so what can we do about it? So
Mhm.
try to explore what they really feel. They can write it down first. They can write the pros and cons. That's why in emotional intelligence, journaling is very important. The processing is very important. If you have indecisive,
Mhm.
if you are
Dito.
indecisive, yeah, or making decisions, yes.
Merns, may question ka before I read one question dito.
So far, wala pa, partner.
Okay, sige.
Medyo, ano pa, kumukuha ng boilo at saka, ano po, mamaya, it might be
In-absorb.
po.
In-absorb muna.
Pinapaprocess pa.
Okay.
Pinaprocess pa. That's good. That's good.
May question po dito, tita. Sabi po niya, I'm so burnt out in work. I feel like wala ko nakita worth ko sa work ko. Paano ko ni masurpass ng emotion? I'm having an authoritarian nga leader. Every time ara iya presence, I feel drained.
Yes, yes. And that's valid.
Mhm.
Okay. First, that's a valid emotion. Okay. If you are already reaching burnout, that means you cannot move or whatever. One, if you can take a break, just a break, not a break that you have to go to Hong Kong or what, no? Just a reflection time, and then breathing. You know, yung makita mo yung ano nga niyan. That's why I didn't put this in the lecture. When your emotions have reached your amygdala is the one that's dictating your body how to react, right? So when you are already angry about, kasi pre-kwan ka na authoritative na tong iyong kwan, you get your pros and cons, okay? It's something like, do I need to leave? Do I need to quit this office? Can I do that? So get the pros and cons. If nakuha mo nga you cannot leave the office, kasi pandemic ngayon, you have to accept that, and you have to learn how to handle that emotion. And one thing is that when it is already triggering, kung nandyan nakikita mo siya, ginhawa dalom. Because the amygdala, which is producing these responses on your body, can be confused of what they have to dictate when there are skeletal muscle movements. That's why when you are in pain and when you are hurt, you can see people walking, no? So that their steam is getting out, so that the amygdala will be confused. It will stop bombarding, increase heart rate, increase no? Because that's the muscular. And the easiest to manipulate at the time that you are feeling this, parang nagabilis na yung nag-hyperventilate ka na kasi nandyan na yung fear mo, no? Ginhawa dalom. Inhale through your nose slowly. Exhale. Because the diaphragm just below your lungs is the only muscle that you can voluntarily move by breathing deeply. It will help your amygdala. Immediate. Immediate. And then if you can get out from the place, if you know, then get out from the place, get some relaxing, no? Kung nabe-burn out ka na gani, inaang ginasiling nga because naubos mo ng adrenaline, we can tap your intrinsic and extrinsic reward system. What makes you move on? It's the thought that at the end of the month, you have a salary. That's your extrinsic reward system. And it decrease and when you think about that, there is a dopamine released in your body. So there is an immediate, a little bit of a happy hormone just to get by. You know? If your sweldo ay napautang mo na, kaya wala ka ng extrinsic reward system because of the salary, then think about the intrinsic reward system. That's when the doctors come in. That and the public servants, you know? It's the reward that what you are doing is fulfilling you. And that is what money cannot buy. And then that will also increase your dopamine. So that would be another topic. Marami kang matap aside from your adrenaline just to move on.
Tita, before I ask the next question, nahiya daw sila mag-post dito sa YouTube kaya sa Facebook nag-PPM.
That's good. That's good. It's okay. Accept it. Philippine.
Yeah. Ano po yung amygdala?
Ang amygdala is part of our emotional system. It's in the brain, as I've mentioned before. It is at 2 almond size. It's in between your brain. Na ang emotional limbic system, when it goes directly to the amygdala, for example, na feel mo yung fear on anxiety, magbigay siya, di ba, ang feeling mo, trigger mo sa labas, no? Then it goes into your body through your senses. Then it goes to your limbic system. That's your thalamus. Then your thalamus will process it. And then if your body need to respond and defend yourself, it will go to your amygdala. Your amygdala is your command center for your protection. That's the amygdala would say na, oops, Reelj needs protection. Because there's fear, no? That means pag nakita mo daw may mga mangawat sa imo nga balay, no? So the amygdala would say to the police, daw police na sila, increase ammunition, increase ang imo nga police presence so that it can help you fight, flight, or freeze. Okay? So that's your amygdala. And then if ever, no? Na hindi naman sila death-threatening sa'yo, ipadaan mo na sa cognitive mo. Ginhawa dalong anay, hindi anay mag-react, no? Singa, inhale, exhale, then debate. Debate with na sa brain mo. I think it's the easiest way. Hindi naman pala masyadong kwan yun. Hindi naman pala yung magnanakaw, maniningil lang ng mga utang or bills pala yun. So ang emotion, bago magdating sa amygdala, hindi na fear. So, hindi na siya mag-extra effort to bring your heart rate or increase your blood pressure. So, hindi na mag-respond ang lawas mo to a negative side.
You get it?
Yes. Follow up po. Like for example, pag yung paano yung mga tao, yung response nila yung mabilis, tapos negative doon sa yun sa sinasabi mo na yung response ng katawan ba negative na reaction doon sa
Actually, kung kunin natin kasi that's impulse control. And impulse control is part of emotional intelligence. Some people don't have impulse control. Diba? So pag dumiretso na sa amygdala, diretso na negative yung mga reactions nila, demeaning words, no, makuha na sila. No, and then to the extent later on, they will, ay nga ako ginawa yun man. No?
Later na po yung results na
yes. That's why when you are aware of it, na ay parati palang ganito yung reaction ko, which I always nag-regret later on. then put it down already. Ginhawa dalom, when you feel already that you are angry, don't react immediately. Get out from the situation. If you are a boss, you can tell, okay, let's have a break for 5 minutes, I'll be back. So that makam down, meron ina ang ginakwan, they have to learn how to put themselves into a state of calmness para ma-overpower na sang imo nga brain or cognitive mind ang imo nga emotion. So they have to know that they are impulsive. Hindi man sila hindi nila ma-manage na kung hindi nila i-accept na impulsive sila. So what happens there? If they continue to act that way, the worst things happens to their lives. And sometimes it's too late.
Yeah, it's because there are people also, tita, na they cannot recognize na impulsive sila. Tapos,
Yes.
though later on, they could also, bakit ko nagawa yun? Pero somehow, walang regret, walang nangyayari po. So,
yeah, but actually, if they continue to do that, no, at the end, it might, it might not be very good already. That's why if like for example, impulsive na mga husbands and wife, no? Isang kwan lang kung ano na ang ginasabi mo sa asawa mo, no? Very abusive words na, ka-demeaning na, no? So hindi mo nakikita na naapektuhan na yung isang tao. But that's your truth, and there's truth. That's why sometimes in life, if you notice, why are these events keep recurring on your life? That is when yung sinasabi natin na, how will I know if there are certain relationships and events that keep recurring? Amo man ni ang nahimo sa akong relationship, trust mo? Amo na naman ito. Because the first relationship, you blame it to the other person. And now the second relationship, the other person is not with you anymore. And the hardest thing, Myrn, is to see you who yourself is. The real you. And the more you see the authentic you, that's where you can put the change on.
Speaking of relationship, tita, mabatin ako.
Yes.
Okay, kasi may dalawang question dito sa baba. Okay? How to handle separation anxiety sa relationship. Okay? And number one is separation anxiety caused by death of your loved ones. And yung pangalawa po, separation anxiety due to that would add siguro sa mga relationship ng mga kabataan sa college or sa family, mga broken family, siguro something like that would result to their sige, yan na lang po muna, pero yung isang separation anxiety from the problems of the family, separation anxiety ng family, nag-a-add up daw po sa problem ng mga kabataan ngayon sa online classes.
Yes.
So discuss muna kita sa separation anxiety
because of death.
Caused by death ng loved ones, and yung second, caused by family separation that adds up to the problem ng mga bata on online classes.
Okay, let's do the first one. Death, there is grieving. Sometimes there's denial first, no? That's what you call the stages of grieving. That's dabda, But the first thing that one has is that it's so hard. You can never dictate a person who's grieving. Okay. So if you are the people around, just be there, just listen, no? And then let her accept the pain if ever she can. And if he can cry, let them cry. Because crying due to sadness can also help the body, defense mechanism, sang lawas naton, that the parasympathetic system will also help when you are able to cry. That's why it is advisable to let them cry. And then next, there is no time limit for grieving. let people grieve and let the people around support the person who's really having this separation anxiety. It's really, really bad and it's really, really hard. The only thing that you can is just be there and a shoulder to cry on. It will take time. The first is denial. So when they deny it, let them. How do they handle denial? Wala pa siya nakamatay. Hindi pa nila ginaguba ang iyang kwarto. Because that's how she adjusts. So, let him. Wag, paminsan kasi sa atin na mga ay, tama na yan, move on. No? That's that's not the way to help people in their separation anxiety. Okay? In this. And then
So,
second,
ibig sabihin, okay lang na umiyak siya. Pabayaan mo na
yes,
lang. Isa din
Payag.
yun, isang way
Yeah.
din yun to help the person na, ano tawag nito, makalabas at least somehow dyan sa emotion.
Yes. And then you can just hug. Hug the person if he needs to be hugged.
Pero
You know, you just be there.
Grieving point niya is umabot na ng 1 taon, 2 taon. Parang the person keeps on, going back and back and back na kasi dapat would that still
That's
be
why I'm telling you that there's no time limit for grieving. So if it's till one, that means she has to look into it again. No? Get kung ano talaga yung emotion. That's why you don't know what emotion. Ano ba talaga? You miss the presence or you felt guilty of his kasi paminsan the guilty of his death. So kung iba din ang approach doon, if you feel guilty about his death, it's something like you have to forgive yourself and forgive the situation. No? That's why you need your support system. In the separation anxiety, it's valid. Sometimes when they can't handle it, a little dose of like something to like a tranquilizer, if there's a management of a doctor, then it can just lie low if it's really terrible for them. But if they can cry, if they want to divert their attention first, no? Siguro when my sister died and my mom died, no? All of them died. I was out of the country. That's why my grieving was much better because I do not see the places that reminds me. You know? So when people nasa tao yun eh. So you have to listen to them. If you are a partner or if you are a friend, do you want to stay for a while? Do you want to have a break for a while? Let them the own discover, no? Kung how they will grieve. But they have to grieve. And some people, no, because you can write. Some of my clients, we try to write to them in heaven because that's the easiest way. That's the easiest way to reach out to them, to your loved ones. You write all the things that you wanted to say, just write it down. And then have a journal. Then for me, all my pains will recover when we start talking about the lives of those who are dead. Okay.
Naalala ko nung nasa ospital si Tita Doc.
Yeah.
Nasa ako noon kami ni na Lucy Burns, naalala mo yun? When Bingbing text, totoo si Mami ni Rush Hospital andito ngayon sa ICU. Sabi ko sa mga kaibigan ko, uwi na ako, si Tita Doc nasa ICU. So, putol yung trip namin. Uwi ako bigla. Diretso sa hospital.
Yeah. Because sometimes you need closure.
Yes.
Sometimes you need closure. You know, ang hirap nung iba na that's why the hardest thing about this pandemic is that you cannot see the people you love when they die with the pandemic. So I don't know how, this is a pandemic, this new to us. So we try whatever we can to alleviate the pain.
At saka isa siguro, Tita, na masakit pa ngayon sa pandemic is yung patient natin, minsan nagugulat na lang na tayo na after they died, yung finding ng doctor is COVID related. 'Di ba minsan magtataka
Oo.
ka, "Ah, bakit?" 'Di ba? Tapos
Yeah.
yung tipong gano'n, 'di ba? So,
Yeah.
anyway, yung second question po kita, separation
About the
anxiety due to family separation and which
yes.
adds up to the problems in online classes.
Yeah. Okay, it's not only online classes, but before these online classes, I've noticed that this young people, I would always say young people, that came to the halls of Umriel Emotional Hub is yan, yung getting the wrong emotion. So it's managed. Kasi paminsan pag separated yung mga parents nila, they have to show they're strong,
Mm,
right? So they deny the emotion of sadness. So what do? Huh? They try to be strong, so but they cannot stay in the house because they feel they are bored. The easiest emotion is bored. So they go out, drink with friends, and then they meet the same friends who have the same problem. And then from drinking, then they go into drugs. Only to find out that they're dealing with the wrong emotion. Actually, ang emotion really that they were sad.
mm,
Sadness is different. They were sad that the parents separated.
mm,
So how do you deal with sadness? You can cry, and then sometimes these children blame themselves
mm,
actually that they are the cause of. So you have to investigate or reflect on what these emotions are that are troubling them. And so the online kasi nawawala yung focus nila no,
mm.
because of the separation anxiety. That's why you have to learn yun ang sinasabi nating stress management through time management. No,
Mm,
I talked about that with a DOST. That means if you are one person who is worrying no, or sad because
mm,
of your parents, don't consume all your day worrying about that because wala ka nang magagawa.
mm.
So, make a time schedule for your worry. Like for example, nafe-feel ko naman na malungkot ako dahil wala yung mga magulang ko. Let me worry about that tomorrow at 8:05 in the morning. And then you go back and focus again in your studies. Okay? Well, that
Ayan.
was ridiculous, but some people are working on it. So it's something that's why there is no one size fits all. That's
Mm,
why it's self perception. You know who you are, and you know what is effective to you. That's why it is. You need practice. You need to experiment. And what works, stay with what works. If it doesn't work, move on and do some planning again.
it's speaking of that let me segue it na lang 'no, let me segue it na lang. Dito po sa Reelj every Saturday may bagong episode po kami, no, at least andito si Mirna 'no, may bagong episode po kami tita, we call it the reunion the Love Hour series. The Love
Oh,
Hour series. So kasi
I think
nagtatanong, maraming nagko-comment, nag nagpi-PM po sa amin talking about love. And may
yes.
dalawang sessions na po kami about love, yung long distance relationship and love, courtship, and marriage. Maraming mga questions pa rin sa PM, sa text na napupunta sa amin. So the team decided to have reunion, the Love Hour series. Yan. So it will be
That's
on
great. That's
Saturday.
great. Love is an emotion. Love is
Correct.
an emotion.
Yeah.
So
Although it's a very
it's the way
old
you
topic.
handle.
Yeah. Although it's a
Yeah.
very old topic, pero hindi po siya naluluma. Tama ba,
Yes.
tita?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's what you call where the what you call that. You have the dopamine. You have the what are the happy hormones?
Mhm.
Oh, nalimutan ko na. It's
So,
in one of
very
my
soon po
lectures.
'yan, very soon po 'yan, dito po
Sige.
sa
Yeah, that would be nice.
Real Char, pero Saturdays naman po siya. Ang co-host ko po dito ito yung mga kasama ko na ladies sa
Okay, that's great. That's
reunion
wonderful.
nakita kami.
That's really
Opo.
timely, Reelj.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's
with
really.
this one, like to say good afternoon once again, or good morning. Good morning kasi morning sa Kandaylay Set sa Oman. Good morning din kay Ricky sa Africa. Okay. Thank you for watching us. Tita, I know na marami po tayong mga katanungan. Okay, but our time is really so strong and so tough. Hopefully po makaulit po kami.
Yes,
Okay.
of course. Yeah,
Okay.
just PM me when, and I will
Yeah.
make arrangements for you.
Malamang
Okay.
Sunday. Sunday din po siya. Sunday
Okay.
din po siya. Would you be, sige, usapan na lang
Mm.
po natin mamaya
Ah,
Tita the air kung
maa.
kailan. May nag-suggest pa kasi dito, next week. Sabi ko, wait. Hindi po si Tita Omega sa next week kasi we have a very special also. Special din po yung guest natin next week.
Yeah.
Hint lang po, isa siyang showbiz personality. Ayan.
Ooh.
Showbiz.
Talagang exciting na yung program mo, ha?
Yeah.
I'm
We are
happy
just
for
happy.
you.
Salamat po, Tita. We're just so happy with friends na nag-help hanap ng mga ng guest. Yung mga, oh, by the way, yung mga viewers po natin ngayon or who would be watching sometime this week, feel free to comment sa baba your suggestions sa mga topics po natin. Okay? If you would like us to tackle some issues or topics, feel free po na mag-comment lang sa baba. Okay? Or sa Facebook, uh, just PM us sa Facebook, and then don't forget po to click that little link on the lower right of your screens, no, sa pag-subscribe. Okay? And then click the bell button para po na maging updated po kayo sa mga future topics po natin. Okay. So bago po natin pakawalan si Tita Omega ngayong hapon, Tita, meron po kayong mga last words or last tips of advices sa mga viewers po natin.
Okay. Actually, what we've tapped this afternoon is just being aware of your emotions. And that is the hardest thing that we usually do in our lives, no? So I would encourage you that starting now, try to give yourself a me time, no? And reflect on what you feel for the day. Get those emotions, you know, because we cannot move on with other building blocks of emotional intelligence until matumbok natin yung emotion na yon, no? And then we will have to find some skills how to manage those emotions. Like, for example, if you are already in the state of anxiety, let's find your ways on how do you go down and have the state of calmness, no? Like, for example, eating something sweet. That will make you some happy hormones, no?
Diabetes.
What you like, yeah. No,
Kaso
just
lang
one.
Tita,
Just
ang
one.
iba
Hindi na.
ang iba
Just
ayaw
one.
naman tumaba.
Yes, yes. But that's the discipline is. No? Or you have a dog, no?
No.
Yeah, it can ano nga ang tinatawag ko na dopamine, ano ganyan mga mga happy hormones. We will tap the happy hormones that can help you get out from the loop, from being
Wow.
down.
Future po yan, partner.
Sa future, well,
Yes,
future.
yes,
Lahat
yes.
daw,
May,
ng mga tao.
may
Oo,
naiintigan
maganda
na nga
yun.
dito, mag-aalaga daw siya ng mga aso.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's why yung
Yeah.
iba po, yung tanim, di ba? Yung
Yeah,
ngayon,
yung mga tanim, yeah.
ano,
That's
yung mga
one way
tanim.
of coping, yeah.
Yeah,
Pero ang
Ano?
kwan kasi sa dog, merong response.
Dopamine?
yeah.
So,
Dopamine.
lalabas yung, hindi, ano nga, nako, hirap ng matanda. There are different,
Right?
you have endorphins, dopamine, the more,
Yung mga min-min, famine.
famine or everything. No? Basta
Okay.
itatap lahat natin yung hormones once we get tired of the adrenaline already.
Yan, ayan. So anyway, my dear friends, maraming salamat po and yeah, sa mga nag-PPM po na may part 2, mag-uusap po kami ni Tita Omega mamaya and we'll see how we can go about that and kung kailan naman po tayo. So para po malaman ninyo kung kailan po yung part 2 natin, kindly click that little link sa baba, yung may dalawang hearts po dyan, no? to subscribe. Okay? And then click po yung bell para po ma-update po kayo kung kailan po yung, kung ano lang po yung mga future topics natin. Partner Mearns, would you like to say something before we end?
So that's why, partner, as Tita Doc had mentioned a while ago, acceptance now is very, very important, as well as forgiveness talaga. So it's either acceptance doon sa mga nangyayari, then forgiveness sa self mo, forgiveness din sa mga tao na nakagawa sa iyo ng kung ano-ano, para at least somehow it could help, of course, your emotions, control yourself at the same time. So we're in. 'Di ba sabi nga ng Panginoon natin, siya yung una siya yung una na nagpatawad sa atin. Kaya of course, that is also very, very important, because somehow if a person, sa akin na nga, somehow probably if a person don't know how to accept things, then it is really very, very hard, of course, to accept
To
also,
move on.
even people, yes, to move on in every situation that the person is facing with. So thank you very much, Tita
You're
Omega, for
welcome. Nice to see you,
with
Myrna.
us.
Kaya nga
Give our
always
regards to the kids.
Kaya nga po always ang sinasabi natin, no matter what happens amidst the chaos and the kaguluhan sa paligid natin, sabi nga ng isang unknown author is never give up because God can read each falling tear. He sees each heart that's needing cheer. He knows each path that is hard and difficult, but never ever give up because God is always near. Once again, good afternoon po. Thank you very much, Tita, and pag-usapan po natin yung part 2 natin. Madami mga tanong. Okay, so ingat po and God bless.
Okay, thank you everyone for watching. And